It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. You can also email me at randykabc@gmail.com. That's randykabc@gmail.com. You know, I was all ready to sit down and do another hour of beating up on Paul Krikorian.
Stop doing that.
For that bizarre press conference he had on Friday going after the Burbank Police Department.
Get out.
But as I was driving home, a YouTube alert popped up on my phone that the Speaker of the Assembly, Robert Rivas, and the Senate President Pro Tem, Mike McGuire, were going to have their own press conference addressing retail theft in California. Let me set the stage here. We are in a situation where in a few months, there is going to be an initiative on the ballot that people will be voting on in California that would repeal major parts of Prop 47, the proposition passed by voters in 2014 that decided to let a whole bunch of people out of prison, lower the raise the felony threshold for shoplifting, and the thing that doesn't get reported enough, it de facto legalized a whole bunch of drugs because we stopped making drug possession a felony. Instead, we made it a misdemeanor, which meant no more drug court, which meant explosion and homelessness. The Speaker of the Assembly and the head of the Senate don't want you to vote on that initiative. They say they've got their own plan. So let's hear them out, and let's see if you trust them over yourself. Let's start with the Speaker of the Assembly. He's brand new. He's from the Central Valley, Robert Rivas.
Now we have these very strong Assembly and Senate bills, 14 in total. And these bills will give law enforcement, our police, our district attorneys, the ability to bring felony charges for serial retail theft. Will also allow them to aggregate these charges across jurisdictions if needed.
Okay, but 47 addresses a whole bunch of other things than just repeated retail theft. That's something, but why don't you want to go after the drugs?
Now, these bills have teeth, but importantly...
I don't know if I buy that.
Now, these bills have teeth.
You notice how his voice kind of affected upwards when he said that? That means that he doesn't even believe that.
Now, these bills have teeth.
Do they?
Now, these bills have teeth, but importantly, they reflect input from many, from various and many different stakeholders. And why is that important? It's important because...
Note to the California Legislature, the person that's setting up these press conferences, you would really benefit from having a pop guard on your microphone when the speaker is speaking.
It's important because for criminal laws to be effective, they need buy-in. And buy-in from a lot of different people, from business owners to prosecutors, mayors, our police officers, from law enforcement organizations.
Okay, now we're just wasting time in the press conference that you called. Give me some actual information. What are these bills going to do, and why are they better than the initiative that the voters will vote on to repeal major parts of Prop 47?
You know, and I've been working with Senate Pro Tem McGuire to fast track the delivery of these bills to our governor, and I want to recognize and thank the Pro Tem and our governor.
You haven't done anything yet. And enough with the applause, patting yourselves on the back. You haven't voted on this. It hasn't gone to the governor and hasn't solved the problem. Solve the problem, then pat yourselves on the back. But no, this is California politics to a T.
And our governor and all of our legislative, our colleagues for being true partners as we take urgent action.
This has only been a problem for a decade, getting worse every year. But this year we took it seriously, and we're going to do something about it. Do you believe these people?
As we take urgent action to ensure that we are delivering results on this issue. I want to recognize and look, I'm a big fan of looking in the rearview mirror. And let's take a pause and take a look back.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go back to 2014.
A couple of some decades ago, we locked up so many people in California's state prisons that a federal receiver was brought in to make sure that we met our constitutional requirements for adequate prison medical care.
This is true. The prisons were overcrowded, and instead of building more of them, Jerry Brown and the Assembly back in 2011 passed AB 109, the prison realignment, which took a whole bunch of different non-violent felony prison times, put them into the jails. So it emptied out the prisons, it overcrowded the jails, and anybody arrested for a misdemeanor was out of jail immediately because there was no room for them.
And
to this day, AB 109 means that if you get convicted of a felony, even like the felony that Robert Rivas was talking about in his bills, if that's not a violent felony, so let's say you are a repeated stealer, you're a repeated thief over and over and over again, and you do get convicted of a felony, you will not spend a day in state prison. You will get kicked out of the jails. Jails are overcrowded. You get time served. So far, he's offering nothing.
And this cost taxpayers billions of dollars.
Yes, and even though we've emptied the prison budget hasn't gone down whatsoever, so we're still spending billions of dollars, and a lot of those people that were in prison are now the homeless on the street, costing us even more billions of dollars.
We are still under that receivership now in 2020.
Please, Pop Guard, it's not that hard. A windsock costs about $2. I know the state is cheap, but it would help us all out.
Now in 2024, because our state was found to be providing unconstitutional levels of care. Our prisons were grossly overcrowded because of sentencing policies that put hundreds of thousands of Californians behind bars.
So what we decided to do was take the teeth out of a whole bunch of laws. And you took all the laws that were revolving around people with drugs and drug possession and decided that that didn't need to be treated as a serious crime anymore. And drug addiction exploded.
When faced with this reality, California voters decided they wanted to do things a little some differently. So on the heels...
This guy's not ready for prime time.
So on the heels of public safety realignment, they passed Proposition 47.
That one's on us. He's right. We passed it, and we did have an opportunity to get rid of it in 2020, and we said no. Will we be successful in 2024? Who's to say?
And made it the law of the land. Time has passed, and it is clear we must adjust our laws to account for the reality that we are facing today.
All right, we're going to change 47. Let's hear what he's going to do that's going to be so great that you don't need to vote to get rid of 47.
Does that mean we have to throw out Proposition 47?
Yes.
I think we should solve our crime problem with carefully considered legislation
that won't put anybody else in prison,
that addresses the problem, because that's how to solve this. Not through blunt force, but through informed fixes.
Well, that's what Robert Rivas had to say. Let's hear his counterpart in the state Senate, Mike McGuire. What do you have to say?
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for taking the time to be able to be here today. I'm honored to be able to join with Speaker Rivas and the esteemed lineup of Assembly members and senators who are leading the way for a safer and stronger California. Grateful to be able to stand with the Speaker and these authors, and we are truly appreciative of their work and partnership. So I'm going to get right to the point. There has been some hogwash.
Whoa, hogwash? What decade are you from?
There has been some hogwash. There has been some hogwash tossed around the Capitol over the past few days. That hogwash has been coming from our Republican colleagues about the amendments needed for the...
Your Republican colleagues who have zero power in the state legislature. You have supermajorities in the California Assembly and the California State Senate. Every single bill they're talking about could easily pass with just Democrat support. So what exactly is the point that you are making here?
That hogwash has been coming from our Republican colleagues about the amendments needed for the Senate and Assembly's retail theft and fentanyl bills. You know, Republicans talk tough about crime. Let's talk about the facts. First, Republicans nominate a 34-count convicted.
I think we could skip ahead. Who cares?
They're trying to slow down some of the most consequential crime bills that this legislature, this state has seen in years.
Well, there is some argument that the bills you're putting forth don't really do anything. So you can say and run in November saying, I passed something that didn't actually solve the problem.
And as the Speaker... and
that's why they're putting urgency clauses into these 14 bills that we definitely need. So if Gavin signs them, they'll go into effect in a month. before the November election so they can all campaign and say, we got tough on crime. But if these bills don't actually put the repeat offenders in prison, then how does it solve the problem?
And as the Speaker and I have said all along, we must move with speed to address retail theft and local crime.
I miss the two Tonys.
And these 14 bills will do just that. These bills will give prosecutors, are going to give judges and law enforcement the enhanced tools they need to make our communities safer and stronger.
What if you have a prosecutor like in Los Angeles County that doesn't want to do that? If we had a state law change, that could help.
Quite frankly.
But right now, we're under his discretion. So you want to give him the tools. He didn't want to use them.
So I think today we need to let the record be straightened out a bit. We added urgency clauses. We added urgency clauses to nearly all the bills, which means if Governor Newsom signs each of these bills this month, they'll go into effect immediately.
Look, we are so urgent. We only talked about this for a year, and now we're coming up with something a few months before the November election. Re-elect me.
The alternative scenario is waiting 7 months until January 1st for the bills to be enacted into law. This moving with speed, is all about common sense. Now, why wouldn't our Republican friends who fly the flag of law and order not want to move with speed to get this done? I'll answer my own question.
Again, you're making no point here. The people you are saying are complaining about this bill have no power. Every single one of them could vote no, and if you got all your side to say yes, it would pass with flying colors. So what is the point you're trying to make? It has nothing to do with the other members of the state Senate, the legislature. They're trying to make sure that you don't vote to repeal Prop 47 because they know better. They're in charge. They got this.
I'll answer my own question. They're more interested in partisan potshots and political games. You know, these 14 bills are giving Californians what they rightfully want and deserve: safer communities and a crackdown on crime. And we added an inoperability clause to these bills to help ensure that if
Okay, now this is some super gobbledygook legislative inside baseball, and even I don't totally understand what it means. But part of the controversy here is they put in clauses in these bills that they want passed immediately that if the ballot initiative passes in November to repeal parts of 47, it won't be able to. I don't know how that works. I don't know how that's legal, but that's what they're trying to do here. And that's what they're freaking out about and holding this press conference because they got caught.
And we added an inoperability clause to these bills to help ensure that if these bills will be put into law and the ballot initiative also goes into effect, we don't have a world-class mess of conflicting policies on our hands. Now, let me be clear today. We firmly believe these bills by the legislature, the leaders in the Senate, the leaders in the Assembly, are the solutions that California needs to fight retail theft and local crime. By the way,
you got to trust us. We know what we're talking about.
By the way, just don't take our word for it. Just ask the ones affected the most: retailers and grocers and small business owners.
Those are a lot of the same people that are supporting the initiative.
They'll tell you these bills will crack down on retail theft and keep their employees and customers safe. Keep Californians safe. Now let's talk about mass incarceration.
Oh, boy.
An important fact to note. We will make our communities stronger in this 14-bill package without implementing the draconian Republican agenda. And that Republican agenda would set California back decades with policies of mass incarceration that devastates black and brown communities.
Okay, just putting that out there, that sounds kind of racist, doesn't it? What did this have to do with race? Also, if your plan does not involve putting any of these repeat offenders in prison, what does it do? How does it solve the problem? If they're just going to jail, jails are overcrowded, then they get right out. So you have done absolutely nothing.
And will cost taxpayers billions of dollars in the years to come. And the policies that we're advancing, they are evidence-based.
Okay, that means nothing. When you start hearing evidence-based and we've got the data, just remember what Gasconi said.
You can come up with data to support almost any argument.
Thank you very much, Gascon.
We spent over a year working with the Assembly and talking with experts on the issues of retail theft and substance use. And the policy solutions that we have in front of us will take an evidence-based approach, full stop. They're also supported by retailers and shop owners and law enforcement and public safety leaders. Now, it's all over.
What about the public safety leaders, like, I don't know, the sheriffs across the state, the mayors of San Diego, San Francisco, and San Jose, who have all said yes to the initiative to get rid of 47? Are they wrong?
Now, it's all over the news lately. Agree with the speaker. Brazen organized crime rings are ripping off not just large corporate retailers, but locally owned mom and pop shops, robbing them of thousands and sometimes tens of thousands of dollars, setting off a string of consequences that end up hitting everyday Californians. We all agree that this needs to stop, and it needs to stop now. We need to hold criminals accountable. And
there's your word, Gavin. We knew it was coming.
Accountability, accountability, accountability.
Robbing them, setting off a string. I'm going to accountable, and we need to hold them accountable now. And the best way to be able to fight back is with this package of safer and stronger pieces of legislation from the Assembly and the Senate, and there's no time to lose.
These guys are on it. They've only been discussing this in committees for over a year. They know that the bills they have are perfect. They're great. You don't need to get rid of 47. We know what we're talking about. We do not want the voter to get involved in this, in repealing something the voters passed 10 years ago. We got a lot more sound, including some spicy Q&A back and forth between Mike McGuire and Ashley Zavala, the incredible Capitol reporter at KCR3 up in Sacramento, including Mike McGuire telling you exactly what his bills do and don't do. But here's my question to you at 800-222-KABC. 1-800-222-5222. You've heard the pitch from Assembly Speaker Robert Rivas. You've heard the pitch from Senate Pro Tem Mike McGuire. They say their bills are the answer to the rampant crime that was caused by Prop 47, and getting rid of Prop 47 won't do anything. They know what they're talking about. You've heard these two give their pitch. Do you believe the legislature is actually going to do something to crack down on crime and drugs? 800-222-KABC. Do you believe the Speaker of the Assembly and the Senate Pro Tem when they say they have got the code to cure this thing? 800-222-KABC. 1-800-222-5222. Have they persuaded you not to vote on the repeal Prop 47 ballot initiative? 800-222-KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're taking your phone calls, 800-222-KABC. There is going to be an initiative on the ballot to repeal parts of Prop 47. The California legislature has their own bills that they're about to pass and have the governor sign. They say they don't need you to vote. We've got the better solution. My question to you at 800-222-KABC is this. Do you trust the California legislature to solve this problem? 800-222-KABC. We'll take your phone calls, and I'll play you a testy exchange between the Senate Pro Tem and Ashley Zavala coming up next on the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. You can email me as well, randykabc@gmail.com. That's randykabc@gmail.com. We played you sound of the Speaker of the Assembly, Robert Rivas, and the State Senate Pro Tem, Mike McGuire, about their plans to fix retail crime. They've got a whole bunch of bills, 14 of them, that will amend Prop 47 in the ways they think is better than the initiative that we will all be voting on in November. Do you trust the California legislature to solve this problem? 800-222-KABC. Let's go to Chris in Orange County. Chris, hello.
Hey, I just want to let you know if 47 goes away, they might have a prison issue since they possibly a year ago this month, they're supposed to have shut down the prison in Susanville. So
they're shutting them down all over the place. In fact, Chris, when Gavin Newsom unveiled his budget back in May, he said one of the ways he was going to fix the deficit is accelerating the closure of even more prisons because they know if all of these reforms pass, there won't be anywhere to put these people.
Yep. Not looking good. But I
Thanks so much for the call, Chris. Appreciate it. Yeah, I've heard about that. Thanks for letting us know. You know, and then look at Los Angeles. What are we doing? We're talking about closing Men's Central Jail without anything to replace it in LA County. So even if you have Rivas and McGuire's bills that are supposed to put all of these repeat offenders into jail, there's no room in the jail. So do you trust these people? 800-222-KABC. Art and Walnut. Art, hello.
Hi. If you look at the track record, you would say, nope, you can't trust them. Tell me one good thing that they've done. I haven't seen anything in 40 years.
That's a very good point.
And it's just like the Jarvis Gann stuff. You know, they're always trying to repeal that to screw us with more taxes. They even took away the credit for if you want to leave it to, like your son or daughter, that they now have to pay taxes on your property to inherit it.
That's the legislature trying to nickel and dime you every 10 seconds. Thanks for the call, Art. Appreciate it. Let's go to Tim in Simi Valley. Tim, hello.
Hey, Randy. Good topic as always. No, I don't trust these people. As a matter of fact, I think that they're screaming, yelling at us right now, don't trust us. Aren't these the same people that were part of the crime is going down gang? They tried to make us believe that the only reason that it looked like retail crime was up was because there were these mass events at these malls, etc. But no, really, crime is going down. Now they have 14 bills that in order to save and make Californians safe, they have to have these urgency clauses to make sure they come into effect immediately. When 3 months ago they were telling us that crime was down. And now they've got to have urgency. The urgency is to blame somebody else, to come up with bills that have fake-sounding names that don't do anything, and to pretend like there's a reason to vote for them again. I don't trust them. There's no reason to trust them, and they're just I don't know why they have authority. I just don't know how they ever get into office.
Well, unfortunately, we're the ones that put them in there, but that's really on us. Tim, thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. And you know what? You're right. That was the narrative for the longest time. No, you just have to understand the statistics. The crime is down. However, it's really hard to keep selling that when you go to the Target and...
How ghetto does it look that they have to lock up the socks?
Once they started locking up the socks, you can't say crime is down. You can't say 47 is working. Do you believe the legislature is actually going to do something with teeth to crack down on retail theft? 800-222-KABC. Diane in Whittier. Diane, hello.
Hey, Randy. Love your show. Absolutely not. The only reason that they're even talking about it, because this has been going on for how long now, just forever, is because someone's talking about repealing 47. So they're not going to do anything. They're just making a bunch of noise and watering down everything, because there's no way that they're going to do what needs to be done. There's just no way. And as you were to your point, they are in charge of it's the Democrats that run everything. So what are they screaming and yelling about the Republicans for? The Republicans can't do anything. That's the problem. It's a one-party state. They are in charge, and they have to bring in the Republicans because they want to act like, oh, it's not all just our problem. We're not the only ones that are holding on, not making the right decisions here. Yes, they are. We're in this mess because of them and them only.
Well, and they think that they can solve this problem without putting any more people in prison, because we can't go back to that. I don't know how that works. Diane, thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. Let's go to Bill in La Cañada. Bill, hello.
Hey, Randy, I listen to these speeches as a teacher and former reporter, and good for you for calling out Rivas as a not ready for prime time. He up-talked 8 times, and I won't repeat the crap, but that's a sign that it's BS. And then McGuire, he's a more sophisticated liar. When anybody says the word experts, full stop, accountable, safer and stronger 3 times, 7 months twice, let me be clear, fly the flag, partisan partners against political games, all this alliteration and saying the word community 2 or 3 times, and plus the black and brown, it's BS.
You make a great point, and it certainly seems like McGuire has spent a lot of time watching how Gavin Newsom talks and trying to copy him. Bill, thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang. We're going to hear that testy exchange between Ashley Zavala of KCRA and Mr. McGuire coming up next right here on the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. If you haven't done so, subscribe to the podcast of the News Blitz. Go to KABC.com, click on podcasts or on Apple Podcasts app, iHeart, Spotify. Search for the News Blitz. Search for Randy Wang. It'll pop up and you can subscribe, download all the episodes, including Friday's show where we talked about the best sandwiches in Southern California. We had so many recommendations up and down the region. You can listen to it if you have Apple Podcasts. You can actually go on the transcript of it and read all the descriptions right there. I also put a Instagram tag to pretty much every single place that we talked about on my Instagram at Randy Wang Radio. That's Randy Wang Radio. That was a really fun one. Love these Happy Hour Friday shows. Hey, as a special prize from me to you to thank you for listening to the News Blitz with Randy Wang, I got a great one for you. Are you ready? 790 KABC welcomes Yachtly Crew, the nation's #1 yacht rock band, at the City National Grove of Anaheim on November 8th. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com, but right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-790-5222 gets a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by Nederlander Concerts. Good luck dialing. Ed writes in at randykabc@gmail.com. Hey, Randy, one quick question. Why do they need 14 bills to fix Prop 47 when they could put it all into one bill? Great question. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang. We'll have that exchange between Zavala and McGuire next, right here on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. Let's get back to this press conference held by the Speaker of the Assembly, Robert Rivas, and the Senate Pro Tem, Mike McGuire, on their 14 bills that are totally going to take care of retail theft and drug addiction and everything that Prop 47 screwed up, so you don't need to repeal Prop 47. Mike McGuire was asked if what bill is going to have more people imprisoned for these crimes, your bills or the repeal of 47? This is very telling.
Do you think that more people would end up incarcerated under the state initiative than under the legislative process?
So the difference between what we see right now between the initiative and what we would see within these 14 bills is, number one, it amends Prop 47. So amending Prop 47 would then bring this state back decades in terms of how we addressed crime. That would be mass incarceration, locking folks up in state prison. And
so you don't want to put people in prison. What exactly do your bills do? If we're not putting the repeat offenders in prison because they cannot change their ways, because the diversion programs didn't work, the endless probation didn't work, what exactly does it do?
And what we know from mass incarceration, and I want to be crystal clear, it has devastated black and brown communities in every corner of this state. And what we also know about mass incarceration, where the Republicans want to move, it will cost taxpayers billions of dollars over the next many years, hundreds of millions of dollars each year.
Now they're all fiscal conservatives.
So,
by the way, I always ask this question. We have closed a lot of prisons. We have let a lot of people out of prison since Prop 47, 57, AB 109. Has the budget for the prison system actually gone down? Or is it there's fewer people in prison, so that cost per inmate keeps going up and up and up and up and up? Because I think the prison guards union would be pretty upset if you cut the prison budget and then those prison guards weren't working.
So what these 14 bills will do advances strategic enhancements.
And Ed, you're right. Why do they need 14?
On specific crimes related to retail theft as well as local crime. And what it would do, it would place individuals, rightfully so, into county jail. But what we're not going to do is amend Prop 47, go back to the era of mass incarceration. So there will be...
So you heard it right there. We're going to put them in jail, not prison, which is what we're already doing right now. And if jails are overcrowded because it's a nonviolent crime, like drug possession would be, like stealing would be, like retail theft would be, then it's the exact same thing. It's not changing anything. Let's go to Hector in Southgate. Hector, hello.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Randy. Yeah, that's just a scam. They don't want to put anybody in prison. They just want to, trick us. They're not going to do anything about weakening Prop 47 or anything. It's the same old, same old. Don't fall for it. Please, no one fall for this.
I think you make a great point. Hector, thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. There is going to be an initiative on the ballot. And if these people, McGuire and Rivas, are saying don't vote yes on it, well, that's a pretty good incentive to vote yes. All right, it's Zavala time.
So certainly, your assessment is that under the state initiative, more people would be incarcerated than under the legislative process.
I think that what we would see under the initiative is going back to the era of mass incarceration, 110%.
I'm just trying to understand.
This is going to be the last question because we're out of time.
Has, for example, a bill to expand the CHP's task force, make it permanent. So you're saying if Prop 47 passes, forget it. We won't expand the CHP's work.
Yeah, see, they're saying if you pass this initiative, all these things that we want to do, we're not going to do them because we're going to take our ball and go home.
Which I know has some requirements for online retailers. If Prop 47 passes, you're willing to say, forget it. I mean, I'm just trying, again, we're trying to understand where the connection is between Prop 47, which...
Oh, my. Not only is it Zavala asking questions off mic because they never mic the reporters, there's a siren in the background in Sacramento.
Prop 47, which mainly focuses on enhancing drug penalties, especially with fentanyl.
Actually, I mean, the Prop 47, the initiative that's currently in front right now, California voters don't want to go back to. Let's just be very clear. And let's just also say this. There's 40 million people, Ms. Zavala, and I will also...
Oh, he name-checked Ashley Zavala, who is a great reporter at KCRA3.
And I will also tell you 1 million people don't represent what 40 million folks and the vast majority of Californians want. And by the way...
Well, the vast majority of Californians don't vote. So if you got 1 million signatures to get this thing on the ballot, that's pretty good. Now, will the Repeal 47 pass? Not sure. They tried this in 2020. It didn't have a lot of publicity because there was COVID, and that one didn't pass. I don't know if it would pass, but they seem to be scared to death up in Sacramento that it will.
By the way, we polled this, right? We took a look, and I'm not saying one poll is going to be the accurate telling and temperature of where Californians are at, but here's what we know, is that when we polled this, 50% want strategic enhancements along with enhanced resources for substance use. 22% simply want to lock more folks up. Another 22%.
Yes, but the not locking folks up is what got us to where we are. So what exactly are you proposing?
Another 22% just want enhanced resources for substance use. So if we take a look at where this legislature is at now, full stop is focusing on the crime that's impacting our communities. If we are serious about combating crime in our communities, we can talk about these two different amendments all we want. But let's talk about where the normal Joe and Jane on the street want their state leaders to focus. What they want is they want legislation that works to keep them safe. And the bottom line is these 14 bills will keep them safe.
Then they abruptly ended the press conference, said, we'll go into detail about what all these poison pills mean. So hopefully we get some more clarification. But these two, Robert Rivas of the Assembly and Mr. McGuire of the state Senate, they seem really scared that there is enough momentum to get the reform of Prop 47 across the finish line if the voters will do so. They're trying to do everything they can to interfere, and at least from what they're saying, their bills that they tout are better won't actually put anybody else in prison. So how exactly are they going to solve this problem? I do not know. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Love doing this every day for you. We're here 5 to 6 every single day talking about the local issues that matter most. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC.